if a person is telling you and showing you who they are, that they do not want you, why are you like not looking at the red flags? Why are the alarms going off and you think it's a test? What is it called? A fire drill. No, it's a real fucking alarm. There's a real fire. You think it's a drill, but it's not a drill. And then 5 years later, down the road, there's the fire. And the alarm been going off all this time. And you chose to ignore it. I mean, I do think there are some people we have to give grace to who may not know how to stand up for themselves, who may bump their heads and have this happen once. Cool. Now, if you let this happen 2 or 3 times, baby, you didn't ask for it. What is it that you expect? You expect something different, yet you keep doing the exact same things? Because clearly you think this is a Build-A-Bear workshop, Build-A-Man, because you building them up for the next woman to enjoy him.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I feel like on my way here, I thought about this a lot. And my mind went a lot of different directions with it. You know? So I want to start off by saying it is what it is. Right? It's f***ing life. I feel like in this scenario, things like this do happen. But to think about if it would upset me or how I would react if this was me, right? I think that it would be a case-by-case scenario. So it's like maybe she didn't sit down and take and ignore all the red flags. What if they were just like coming to the end of their relationship where they both realized that this wasn't going to work and they didn't want to waste no more time? And being that they probably mutually decided that they didn't want to waste no more time being with each other, he got into another relationship.
Wait,
and
are you saying at 5, it took them 5 years to figure that out?
Yeah. Mutually.
No. Because she already said she keeps doing the same thing with different men.
It means her antenna should be up already.
It should have been up. She practiced.
What's so funny? I don't know.
Yo, I'm a professional, guys. You gotta understand that. So
not really acting like it, but
because there's something that's going on and there's a point that I was proving and I was just letting y'all prove it.
Do you guys think that some people, maybe some women, aren't maybe
marriage material?
Maybe not only not marriage material, maybe they're just not wifeable.
Can I go
There's
from
a
there?
gazillion people in the world.
No, I feel like even I do honestly think that of course there are women that some men don't seem wifeable because, you know, they got with them for whatever reason. Maybe it wasn't to be in a long-lasting relationship with them. But it's like to spend 5 years with them on purpose, knowing that you didn't want to be in a relationship with them is different. You know what I'm saying? It's like, who wants to purposely waste all that time? That's why I couldn't really come to the conclusion that that's what happened. Because I don't know. I'm like, maybe it was case by case. Maybe she had something different happen each time she went through this. Very unfortunate for her, but this is life, man. I feel like even if this wasn't the specific, circumstance, you leave every relationship with something. Like your last person has groomed you in some kind of way. You got something from that last relationship to move forward into that new relationship. You learned something. You got something from that. So for the man to now be in a new relationship and she feels like she groomed him for that, it's like
Or it was a place
life.
So that's the thing. And using women based on this, conversation, women got to understand that oftentimes you're not a placeholder. Oftentimes a guy is trying to see it through with you, but you are just not wife material. You think you know what it is to be the wife that man is asking for. And then you don't do and you're not receptive on what he is asking for.
Sorry, it could have not been that also. It could have just been something.
No man is sticking with the girl for 5 years for no reason. I'm telling you that right now. And if you gave me the only reason that I think that would happen, would have to be a placeholder in a sense where he can't get any other girl.
Or it could be that he didn't feel where he wanted to be financially, successful wise. A lot of those.
I'm not adding variables because I could say yes and I could say no to both. right? But what I'm saying, speaking on the skeleton that we have, if a man and a woman are together, and this is why I did add this one layer. She said that this is not the first time that this has happened. Okay? If a man and a woman are together, and if you're that man or that woman, and you seem to, every time you leave out that person's life, they blossom into a better relationship, oftentimes you were probably a part of the reason of why they were not in the relationship and or space to be the person that they are now. That was God right there, because that was real spill. So now, so let me just finish this up real quick. So what I'm trying to say is, you have to understand, like, yo, listen, if I'm going through a pattern right now of relationships where every time me and my ex are over, they're now getting, in a new relationship, and is progressing at a much faster rate than ours, to the point where they're getting engaged and or married in shorter amount of time than me and them spent together. You have to self-reflect. You got to look at yourself and be like, well, what are the things that maybe he was saying that I missed? Or what is things that he was asking for that I was not doing? And then you have to then tally it up amongst all your relationship, and then be like, maybe what people are wanting, majority of men and women, I believe, want a lot of the same core things. Couple little different tweaks here and there, everybody's different preferences. But if you're missing the ball over and over again, you're missing the most important core characteristics that men are asking for in a wife.
Well, I'm going to say yes and no to what you're saying. Because you know what? It's 8 billion people in the world. So maybe she probably got to go through a couple of that mishaps in that situation, or meet different people and try again. It's not impossible for her never to find a man. It's just that person wasn't her person.
I have a question. So
I'm not going with that.
But Rico, I mean, I do believe like it's somebody for everybody.
It's somebody.
I don't believe that.
Yes, it is.
You may not.
You might not
the person
that you want.
Your first, second, or third round. You might get the 7th round. What's it called, Mr. Unlucky? Like in the draft, the very last person.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, nobody got the football reference.
No, I got it. I understand.
Okay.
Yeah. That was Tom Brady.
What was I about to say?
That there's somebody for everybody. You might not get what you want.
Yeah, no. I had a question for you. Why do you think the man, if he sees year 1, she's not receptive to whatever he's saying. Year 2, not receptive. Year 3, not receptive. Why is he staying for 5 years?
Well, I mean, women gotta also understand that when a man loves you, he don't want to leave, even though he knows you don't listen. It's hard for men to leave their woman. This has been shown throughout history and stats, from divorce and just breaking up. Even myself, personal experience, it's harder for me to leave a woman. I would prefer the woman to leave me, especially if I love her. Now, obviously, everybody has their breaking point, and that's to also be acknowledged. But a man that's saying, hey, look, year 1, maybe, and a lot of times it doesn't happen in year 1.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Year 1 was perfectly fine.
Mm-hmm.
Year 2 is perfectly fine. Year 3, things are a little rocky. And now she's asking, where are we going with this relationship? Now I'm adding layers. But the question that then ends up happening once the relationship starts getting serious is, where is it going? Where's the direction?
I feel like I'm thinking the same thing, because we're so stuck on the fact that it was 5 years spent in the relationship. But that doesn't mean that all 5 years we were trying to figure out like what we were going to do. We could have had the best first 3 years, and maybe on the 4th year we started getting a little rocky, and we spent that last year trying to see what we were going to do. So we ended up deciding that, after a year of trying to figure stuff out and going, like, having our highs and lows, that we were just going to end it, because at this point we're wasting time.
That's very reasonable. That's 1,000% reasonable the first time around.
Yeah.
But to repeat that is where, like, I'm confused. At what point is it your fault? At what point are you allowing this to continue, like, happening?
Well, that's when I agree with Rico on saying that you got to look inward on what you might be doing wrong. Because, and I'm not saying that she is the problem, because she's probably just unlucky.
Probably never did
it probably really only happened to her twice, and she's thinking God hates me. But, sometimes you do have to look inward and say, well, what is it about me that, doesn't really get to that point with the relationship that I'm in? Am I doing good grooming for this for this person that I'm with? Is it just like my personality? Do I have like certain ways about me that makes me not be the wife kind of type? You got to ask yourself those questions.
This is the thing. There are people that are in long-term relationships and they realize, I don't think I want to be with that person. And they'll stay in that relationship and know they don't.
Because they invested so much time?
They invest time and whatever. Sometimes, to make the decision to marry somebody is not 1, 2, 3 for most people. And sometimes you're like, you know what, I'm just comfortable just chilling with this person until I finish my degree, until I get out of this career.
But you know what?
I get out of this.
You know what about that is like when you finally decide to get out of that relationship that you just felt so comfortable in. You didn't really want to be with that person, but you guys just invested so much time and you're just comfortable. When you get into that new relationship and it's just so much more different, there's so much love there. You guys are in love. You guys are honeymoon phase and you just decide, I want to get in. I want to get in here. While it's hot, I'm trying to get in. I wasted so much time doing nothing in my previous relationship.
So you might be making a mistake. So you're basically saying that because you stayed in a relationship that you didn't want, you were unhappy, right? Mm-hmm. And you get into this new relationship,
you feel happy.
And you feel happy, but you're in the honeymoon phase. You're in the illusion stage, and then you're thinking like, this is my person because I was miserable for so long. Little do you know, 3 years later, you right back in the same situation.
But that's why you shouldn't even. Why are you looking down on it so much? Like you're the person that they didn't marry, but you don't even know if that new thing is gonna last. It's only been 6 months, so who cares? Life is life, and Amanda, you let that relationship be what it is.
Well, I'm gonna say this. I have a friend of mine that did the same exact thing. He was in his relationship. He has 2 children with my friend, and they broke up abruptly. And they're, 2 small children left. Met a girl. She came from a nice family, African background. Everything is good. Less than 6 months, he married her. He left my friend that he'd been with for 9 years. Married her less than 6 months to a year. 1 year in the relationship. Guess what's happening? She's not his person. You want to know why? He didn't know her.